All the students of second year physics. I am giving you the lecture on electrostatics, which is chapter number 12 of second year physics. First, we shall must know about electrostatics. What is electrostatics? Just see the location of my cursor. Here the electrostatics. Electro means electric charges and statics means at rest. So we can say that it is the study of electric charges at rest under the action of electric forces. This is known as electrostatics. Now the question arises, what is an electric force? The force which holds the positive and the negative charges that make up atoms and molecules is known as electric force. Positive charge, normally this is the term which is used for protons, and the negative charges, which is the term which is used for electrons. But later in second year physics, you will also see that the word positive charge is used for the holes. Now only consider positive charge here. By positive charge we mean protons, and by negative charge we mean electrons here. The combination of these positive and the negative charges, they combine to form atoms, and then atoms combine to form molecules, and then molecules further combine to form compounds or very complex structures. It is only due to the presence of this electric force that we are in a composed form. Everything around us is in a composed form. So we can say that the existence of the human beings is also due to the presence of electric force which holds the atoms. Even we are made up of atoms, and then atoms are made up, combine to form molecules, and then these molecules combine to form compounds, which further combine to form various organs in our body. So this same is the case for non-living things. Everything around us, uh, in which is in a composed form or the solid form, this is all due to the presence of electric force. Without this force, nothing can remain in a composed or the solid form. Up till now we only know about the positive charges and negative charges. We always see that the positive charges, two positive charges or the two electric charges, means that the two similar charges repel each other, whereas the two opposite charges, one is positive and the other is negative, they and the two charges of opposite nature, one is positive and the other is negative, these two opposite charges attract each other. Now going towards the first topic of chapter number 12, we see that the presence of the electric force between the various charged particles uh, helps in forming various compounds or various composed form structure. Now there is a question that we see that the electric force is present between the two charges, whether the two charges are of opposite nature or whether they are of similar nature. Charges of similar nature repel each other, whereas the charges of opposite nature attract each other. So there is a question that with how much force these two charges, whether when they are of similar nature, repel each other, and when they are of opposite nature, attract each other. What will be the magnitude of the force, or what will be the direction of the force which is acting between the two charged particles? So for this purpose, a French military engineer presented this law, which is Coulomb's law, in 1874 AD to investigate and to measure the quantity and nature of electric forces between the two charges. According to this law, it states that the force between the two point charges is directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of the charges and inversely proportional to the squares of the distance between them. The mathematical expression of Coulomb's law is given as this electric force, which is also termed as the Coulomb's force. Look at the position of my cursor. This is directly proportional to the product of two charges. Product of two charges Q1 and Q2, and inversely proportional to the squares of distance between them. Or F is equal to K Q1 over Q2, Q1 into Q2 over R square, where K is the constant of proportionality, F is the magnitude of mutual force, Q1, Q2 are the two charges, and R is the separation between the two charges. I have said that F is the mutual force. This force always acts along the line joining the And this line that this force, Coulomb's force, always act along the line joining the 2 point charges. Just look at this diagram. These are 2 point charges, Q1 and Q2. They have same charge on them. You will see that Q1 is positive and Q2 is also positive. R is the separation between them, and this is the line which is joining the two charges. Force, Coulomb's force. This acts along the line joining the two charges. Look at the position of my cursor. Here, the direction of two forces is such that the two charges are repelling each other. Now look at the second diagram. In this diagram, Q1 is positive and Q2 is negative. Now look at the position of the force vectors. These force vectors are towards each other. It means that they are attracting each other, and these are acting along the line joining the 2 point charges. For the presence of the electric force or its exertion on the charged particles, it should be noted that the two charges must be at some distance from each other. They should not touch each other. If they touch each other, then no electric force will be experienced. Only it will be experienced when they are at some distance apart. So here K is the constant of proportionality. Depends upon the means the value of K depends upon the medium between the two charges or a system of units in which F, Q and R are weighed. In first case, the medium between the two charges, it can be vacuum, it can be air or any dielectric medium. So in this case, we have considered that the medium between the two charged particles is free space or air. For air, we can also use the term vacuum. You have seen that if the medium between the two charges is free space, then K is given as K is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught. Epsilon naught is electrical constant, and it is termed as permittivity of free space, and its value is given here. 8.85 in 10 raised to minus 12 coulomb square per Newton per meter square. And by inserting the value of epsilon naught in this equation, then the value of K will become K is equal to 9 into 10 raised to power 9 nm square per coulomb square. So putting the value of K in Coulomb's force equation, F will become equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 over R square. This is in free space. So I have said that Coulomb's force is a mutual force. It means that if Q1 is exerting a force on Q2, then Q2 will also exert force on Q1. These two forces will be equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. According to this equation, you can see that F12. F12 represent force exerted on Q1 due to Q2, and F21 represents that force exerting on Q2 due to Q1. Minus sign indicates that these are opposite in direction. Equality shows that they are equal in magnitude, and minus sign shows that they are opposite in direction. You can see in this diagram that here the force is represented F21. Look at the position of my cursor. F21, direction of F21 is such that it shows that F21 force is exerting on Q2 by Q1. And in second one, you can see that there is F12. It means that force is exerting on Q1 due to Q2. Unit vector R, in this equation, unit vector R here is used to represent the direction of force. In first case, unit vector direction R21, it means that its direction is from Q1 to Q2. Look at the direction, black arrowhead. And in the second diagram, the direction of this R, so the direction of the Coulomb's force, this is from Q2 to Q1. So further explaining the Coulomb's law, if we replace the medium between the two charges by some other medium, means if we replace free space or vacuum by some insulator, which is also termed as a dielectric medium between the plates, then the equation of Coulomb's force will become F is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught epsilon R, which is relative permittivity, into Q1 Q2 over R square. So Coulomb's force in the presence of the dielectric medium will become this. Dielectric is basically an insulator, and it is such type of insulator which will be polarized Uh, the dielectric is such type of insulator which will be polarized in the presence of electric field. So the insulator which will be polarized in the presence of the electric field, this is termed as dielectric. The presence of a dielectric medium between the two charges always reduces the effect of Coulomb's force. So in this diagram you can see that it is inversely proportional. Greater the value of relative permittivity epsilon r, the smaller will be the Coulomb's force. In vector form, this is represented as F12 is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught into epsilon r q1 q2 over r square. Relative permittivity is represented by epsilon r. This is the vector form of Coulomb's law. Various relative permittivities of various materials are given here. For vacuum it is 1, for air it is 1.0006, which is nearly equal to the vacuum, and further material ammonia, bakelite, their relative permittivities are given here. Now let us solve a first example, which is 12.1. It is related to Coulomb's law. Its statement is given as charges. We have two charges Q1 and Q2. Charges Q1 is equal to 100 microcoulombs and charge Q2 is 50 microcoulombs. These are located in XY plane at position R1 is equal to 3 J unit vector and R2 is equal to 4 J unit vector respectively, and where the distances are measured in meters. The distance between the two charges will be measured in meters, and calculate force on Q2. So for this vector Q1 is 100 microcoulombs, Q2 is 50 microcoulomb. Position vector of Q2 relative to Q1 is given here. R21 is equal to R2 minus R1 is equal to 4I unit vector minus 3J unit vector. This is used to find the separation between the two charges. So how much these two charges are separated? So for this purpose we must take the magnitude of this R21. This is given as 4 meter square. You can see in this expression where the value of R1 and R2 are given, 4 meter square plus into minus 3 meter square, and you can see the magnitude of R, which is 5 meter. So in unit vector is equal to vector over is the ratio between the vector over its magnitude. Means a unit vector is equal to vector divided by its magnitude. R21, this one is a vector, 4I unit vector minus 3J unit vector, and its magnitude is 5. By placing all of these values in this equation, the magnitude of F21 we will be given as 1.44 I unit vector minus 1.08 J unit vector. So the magnitude of this force will be equal to 1.8 Newton, and the direction of F21 is equal to by this formula tan inverse. This is equal to minus 37 degree with x-axis. For this purpose, you people must recall the chapter number 2, which is about the vectors from first year physics. This concept is utilized here. Okay, this is all from Coulomb's law.